Thank you. And welcome to this session about slow is the new broken. Plan for team's quality and monitoring. Perhaps monitoring and reporting. We'll come back to that later. So, team's quality. Why is that important? Well, we all have 1 million things to do, and we need to get them done. So we don't have time for distractions. So things really need to move slowly. And monitoring and reporting, why is that important? Because with good reporting and good monitoring comes good confidence in quality. Because in situations like this, no news isn't good news. Because if people are not happy with the product, with the service, it doesn't work as it's supposed to do, and our end users also have a million things to do. So if the tools that we give them doesn't work, then they will find something else that works, so they can have their work done. So that's why also monitoring and reporting is important. And also another important thing here, and here's a spoiler alert for you right now. The network is important, right? Everything comes down to the network. It's the foundation of where all our communication happens these days in our cloud era. So this won't be a 25 minutes session about networking, and I'm sure that many of you know more about network and networking than I do, but my hope for this session is that after this 25 minutes you will have enough confidence to talk to the network team and tell them what the information you need from them, and also there's a slight chance that you will find problems in their network, and you need to tell them how to fix it or what needs to be fixed in their network. So yes, network is important. So what we want to do is we want to find these productivity killers, these disruptions that prohibit us from doing the job that we want to do. So we want to be the heroes here. We want to create awesome report. We want to present it to the network team and help them fix the problems so that you can be the heroes, right? Like awesome reports, like All right, sounds good? Sounds you are in the right session? All right, excellent. So my name is Mårten Hellebro. I live in Sweden, in Stockholm. I work for a Norwegian company called Cloudway, and I help organizations boost their productivity using Microsoft 365. Here you have my contact information. I'm a I'm an MVP. I also wrote the second edition of the Microsoft Mastering Microsoft Teams book, which was outdated even before it was released, but that's how it is with today's technology. And also there's some conferencing organizing, and I have a podcast in Swedish. So enough about me. Productivity. You all know the feeling when you get into the flow. You know what to do. It's like you just do the work, and it's beautiful, and everything just happened. And then, boom! A productivity killer hits you and throws you completely on the ground. And those productivity killers, it can be anything. It can be a colleague or your family, your kids if you're working from home. It can be your phone. Actually, this is the worst productivity killer all the time. So I'm going to put this one over here. Because you are in the flow, you're doing the work that you need to be done, and then it gets interrupted. It can be your phone with your soccer team, or LinkedIn notifications, or an email, or Teams, whatever. And we need to control them so we can get more of the in the flow work. And some of these productivity killers can actually be measured, and some can be controlled. I mean, your family, for example, they can be controlled, or you can work in the office, or it's harder with a cat, for example. It's harder to train to not disturb you. But also, most of these come to you as an end user, how you are controlling your mobile phone and your notifications, and so you get into the zone when you need to. And some of these can be measured also. With the productivity score and the Viva Insights, you can get help on, are you using focus time, are you multitasking during meetings, and things like that. And also, it comes down to you as an end user, how to control this. And also, as an organization, which tools are we providing? Are we providing enough training for the tools? Are we providing enough time to really know and how to use the products? But these user behaviors, they're only half of the productivity problem here. So can you guess what the other half of the problem is?
Dogs. What, 2 dogs?
Yeah, not sure.
The network.
Yes, exactly. The spoiler. Technology and the network. Yes. So, the network, the fundamental on which all our communication happens. So, who knows here about TCP/IP? Have heard about it? Yeah? Transport, communication, IP, Internet Protocol, IP addresses. Yes. Unique identifier of devices on the network. So, yeah, that's good. And who knows about subnetting? Enough to teach everyone here about how it works? Okay, I see some nodding, but not me. No, definitely not me. Because I'm not an expert in this area of networking. But, okay, I come into this part of the session when I'm supposed to build credibility, so that you will actually think that I know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to tell you a little story here. So imagine it's year 2000. We have just barely survived the millennium bug. And I'm John, at home studying for my first Microsoft Certified Professional exam, the Networking Essentials. And wow, there's a whole new world opening up with connecting devices and networks and token rings flowing around and devices talking, and so wow, super exciting. And I was very much enjoying that, studying for that exam. And I passed, yes. Woo-hoo. I got the diploma signed by Bill Gates and everything. I was like, yes. But then, now I have a little confession. So, could this perhaps stay in the room, please, just between us? After that, I haven't studied networking at all. No, I was done. So, but however, I have been involved in many complex projects, implementing link servers, Sky for Business servers in many years, and I learned a lot during that. And thanks to my basic networking essential skills, I was able to navigate in those projects. Because you don't need to be an expert, but you need to know the basics so that when you talk to the network team, they understand what you're doing. And here's a super tip for you. All right, hold on. Wait for the... Okay. Here's a super tip for you. When you talk to the network team, Don't pretend you know more about networking than you actually do, because they will destroy you instantly. So keep with the basics, what you know, talk with their language, and then you should be good. Because still, you need the information from them, because we need to define our networks so that we know where these productivity killer happens. And for that, we need the network team to tell us what we need to know. But then we also need to tell them what we need to know. And then, as I said in the beginning, probably we will find problems in their network that they need to fix. So, yeah. And I also learned very early into these projects that it's good to make friends with the network team. It's much easier when you have someone you can call and ask for help, and also ask for help to fix problems that you find. So make friends with the network team. That will really help you a lot moving forward. So, with the friends, with the newly friends from the network team, you need to identify the IP addresses into physical locations. So we know where these productivity killers happens in the network. So, and we do that by defining our networks in regions, countries, buildings, floor, etc. So that we can take one IP addresses which has an error somewhere, and we can actually pinpoint that to that building on that floor, for example. If we don't do that, we are clueless where these problems happens. I mean, like, we have a problem, but we don't know where. So that's why it's important. And we don't need to define each and every IP addresses, because we work with subnets, subsets of the networks. So we define them, not all the IP addresses. Yes. So what does networks and subnets have to do with productivity? Yeah. Remember the network, from the fundamental on which all communication happens. And if we don't define our networks, we don't know if a problem happens in the office, in what country, or the home, whatever. Is it the cat or whatever? So yeah, funny story about the cat. A while back, I was in a Teams meeting. No, I wasn't, but I was working home, sitting at my desk, and one of my cats comes and wants to jump into my lap. That's fine, no problem with that. So she jumps up, but on her way up, she hits either her head or her back underneath the desk, and keeps hanging halfway to my leg, trying to climb up. And I felt the claws like penetrating my jeans, and I was like, ah! And the cat was like, meow! I was like, ah! And the cat was like, all right. Yeah, I could count the claws a week after that incident. So it was good I wasn't in a Teams meeting, but yeah, those productivity killers are harder to control. But we can control what we find on the network. Okay. Where were we? Yeah, that's right. Exercise time, all right? Now I want you to calculate how many devices or IP addresses each of these networks, subnets can hold. So we have 3 minutes. Start counting now. I'm looking at my fake watch here. All right, stop. Time out. Stop Googling. Ben, you can put away Google. No, it was just a practice exercise. But what I want to show you with this one is that when you get the information from the network team, it can look like this. Example A and B here. That's the exact same definition of the same network. So either the /24, it means that we have 256 available IP addresses on that network, being one broadcast address and one default gateway, leaving us with 254 unique IP addresses on the network. And the same with mask 255, 255, 2550. So A and B are the exact same network. And also the same with C and D. Rather, it's a bigger network with 512 IP addresses. So these are the basics that we need to know that we can get from the network team. Yes. Okay. Now, if I had some sleeves, I would roll them up because now we're going to look into the productivity killers. So with slow being the new broken, it's not just these boys and girls, the race driver, that are reliant on speed. Even we are when we are doing our work. For example, if it takes 10 seconds, if it takes 10 seconds to join a Teams meeting, something is broken. If you don't find the files you're looking for on OneDrive or SharePoint in the first attempt, and then when you finally found it, it doesn't open it instantly, something is broken. And bad audio in your Teams meeting, broken, right? So it's really important that we find these so we can kill the productivity killers. And where does most of the network-related, call quality-related errors happens? In the network, yeah, of course. So what does networks and subnets have to do with productivity? Everything. Yes. And remember, we don't need to be the network experts. We have our friends in the network team that can help us with that. And by defining our networks in the tools that are already available in Microsoft 365, we'll be able to find and pinpoint these network-related errors, so we can find them and then fix them. And for that, we need the network team again. And when we talk to the network team, even though we are best friends with the network team, we still need to be careful and cautious when we talk to them, because remember, the network is the fundamental, and the funny part here is that the network team knows that. They know that they are sitting on the golden egg. So we need to be smart when we talk to them. Has anyone here stood in front of the network team and felt completely lost? I mean, destroyed. I mean, like stabbed in the back, destroyed. Like, I have, more than once. Yes. Yeah, it's not a pleasant feeling, but hey, again, we're building our relationship with the network team, so hopefully we will not have to do that. Oh, and the firewall team, they are even worse. So yeah. Yeah, okay. A little tip here, when you are having trouble with the network team, if things aren't going as smooth as you wanted, you can try to light it up with a joke or so, like, hey, how long is your network? Or Chuck Norris doesn't do TCP handshake. No, he does like roundhouse kick to initiate the conversation. TCP IP negotiating. Chuck Norris doesn't know. Okay, you see, it never ends well, so don't do that. But all right, so the network is key here, and we want to find the productivity killers, and we do that by defining our networks into subnets. Yes, great, we got this. All right, 3 tools built into Microsoft 365 that we can use. We have the productivity score, where we can see where we are accessing internet and how we're doing meetings and calling and things like that. And we also have the call quality dashboard, CQD, where we can find call-related quality issues. And we also have the Teams network planner. So within the productivity score, we have the Microsoft 365 network connectivity. So a little bit small here, but it's an example here. We have an example, an office in Philadelphia on the East Coast. And the green dots here, they are the front doors for different Microsoft 365 services. Exchange, SharePoint, for example. So these are the closest one to our office here. But this company has a network connection to probably the headquarters in the West Coast. And then that's where their internet egress are. So instead of hitting Microsoft's closest gateways, they go across the continent and out there. So that's not good, because we want to spend as short time on the public internet, and also quickest way to Microsoft's front door with their backbone for these cloud-built Microsoft services or cloud services. Yeah, and we have other interesting things in the productivity score, but we can skip those for now. But then we have the call quality dashboard. And here we can not only get the overview or trends of quality, but we can also drill down and find our productivity killers here. And without defining networks in this one, we can see was this a good or a bad day, but that's pretty much it, but we don't know where it happens. And then we also have the Teams Network Planner. And all these three tools, we need to upload the definition of our networks, separate uploads. But when we do that, we have a very good overview of where this happens. So, we take questions at the end, especially from, no, I'm going to say it. All right, to summarize this, final minutes here. Use the built-in tools that we have in Microsoft 365, the call quality dashboard, productivity score, and the network planner. Upload and define our networks so we know where things go wrong. And also, so you can identify, locate, and fix the productivity killers. Yes, and if it's one thing, one thing only that I want to give away from this session is that make friends with the network team, because you will need their help getting the information you need so you can produce these reports and troubleshooting, but also you probably need their help fixing problems in their network that you found. And if you're not on friends terms, that can be difficult to pinpoint problems that they should have fixed already. All right, so to wrap this up, define your networks, kill the productivity killers, not the cat, but the other productivity killers, so you can be the heroes, right? Yes. Great, that was it. Thank you very much. Here are my contact information.